What is going on, everybody? I'm your host, Cleo Thomas, aka Mr. Slick Living, and I am so excited to be a part of this Snake Eyes Declassified special live stream event and celebration of Yo Joe June, dedicated to all things Snake Eyes, everyone's favorite Ninja Warrior, and to celebrate the live action film release of Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins in just a few short weeks on July 23rd, only in theaters. Now, growing up with a dad in the military, playing with G.I. Joe figures is what kept me connected with my dad when he was out on deployment. And that's why today is a really, really big deal for me. And we've got a full slate of content for you today. So let's open up those declassified files and kick things off with a look at the awesome Snake Eyes trailer that just came out a few short days ago.
Push boy! Boss wants to see you.
I'm in trouble?
Someone is.
This man betrayed our trust. Do it.
I gotta get in my zone now! You saved my life. We are going home.
I don't have a home.
Not yours. Mine. I can't change your past. But I can offer you a purpose. For 600 years, our ninja have brought peace to the world. I believe in you.
All right, what do I have to do?
I gotta get in my zone now. The 3 challenges of the warrior. I'm on a new level.
The 3 challenges and the what now?
If you survive, you will gain access to our knowledge and our power.
Cobra is coming.
What's Cobra?
A shadow organization devoted to global revolution. I've been following you for some time.
Do I know you?
I know you, Snake Eyes.
Join us. This is your destiny.
Right? You're feeling that? Same feeling. This is everything I expected, plus more. I mean, I cannot wait to see all that action on the big screen. That was truly incredible. And announced last week, Snake Eyes will have a special cast panel at this summer's Comic-Con at home, as well as 10 fan-first premiere screenings at theaters across the U.S. on July 21st. Be sure to follow the Snake Eyes official channels and for all details on where and how to RSVP. Now, let's kick things off with what I know everyone wants to hear about. Toys, all right? Hasbro previously revealed their Snake Eyes themed core ninja figures and bikes, and the reaction from fans blew them away. Starting today, following this event at 1 p.m. Eastern, you'll be able to pre-order these fun 6-inch figures inspired by the movie, as well as Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow with their bikes on Hasbro Pulse. We also had this new diorama of the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow Classified series movie figures from photographer Spencer Witt. He always seems to up the ante with his photography. It just simply brings these figures to life. Remember that these guys are also available today for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse. Many of you tuning in today are well aware of the G.I. Joe Classified series, Hasbro's premium line of 6-inch figures, which has been performing phenomenally well since launch last year. You may also know that each figure comes with a uniquely commissioned piece of art on the packaging that adds collectability and makes these figures feel really premium. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Cecil, a graphic designer at Hasbro, and John Guydo, the artist who created the amazing piece featured on the Snake Eyes movie figure packaging. Take it away, guys.
Yo, Joe fans, Cecil from the G.I. Joe branding team here. Today I'm sitting down with John Guydo. Fans can expect to see his work upcoming on the G.I. Joe Classified series Snake Eyes movie package. John, thank you for sitting with us today.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited to chat with you. I wanted to jump in first by talking about your work and sort of maybe give the fans a little sneak peek into sort of how you got into this field, maybe some of your top artistic influences that kind of got you here.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been very interested in drawing and art from the time I was a little kid. I used to try to emulate my favorite comic book artists, very into comic books. And I would, look at Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri, and I would be practicing all the time and trying to emulate that. And then as I got older, I studied it more seriously. I went to the School of Visual Arts here in Manhattan and started an illustration career and posting on social media, and people started reaching out to me. I had the opportunity to do some really cool projects for Marvel and DC and Lucasfilm and a bunch of others. So yeah, it's been great.
Was there something different for working on G.I. Joe, and in particular the Snake Eyes piece, that you had to approach it a little bit differently versus some of those other brands?
Well, I think the challenge with the Snake Eyes piece was it was a brand new suit. No one had ever seen it before. I had the opportunity to see it early, which was amazing. And so, it's not like a comic book character or something that you've seen a million times in the same costume. It was something new that had just been developed. So that was the challenge with it. But other than that, I just wanted to be, a dynamic action type image. And I think we pulled it off.
The thing that strikes me most about your work is your compositions and how much thought it seems that you put into those. Can you talk a little bit about that part of your process, kind of before even starting, and then how that relates to how you went into this Snake Eyes piece? Because like you said, there's multiple poses of the character in this, doing quite a different range of movements.
For me, the real art comes in at the very beginning of the project. That's the most difficult thing, composing the piece, and to me that's like so important. So I did a lot of sketches. I always do with all my pieces. I really want something that works visually as a whole piece. And then, once I have something that I'm happy with, it's just a matter of kind of like executing it and, applying your style to it. But yeah, to me, that's the most important part.
I wanted to talk about your style specifically and your line work and the intricacies that go along with that, because I think some people maybe don't understand the level of precision and detail that takes. And going back to what we were talking about earlier with some of your influences, I see your work translating really well to like engravings and some of these old contexts for where you would see pen and ink and line work. Is that something that you are familiar with and had influenced you too? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, comic book artists, of course, I'm still really enamored with, but a lot of classic artists as well, like Doré and Dürer. I was just always fascinated with that line work, those parallel lines. Something about it just always grabbed me, and it was so interesting. So I'm trying to like replicate that a little bit with pen and ink. And there are some other pen and ink artists who have done this too. I'm not the only one. Going back, Franklin Booth is a major influence on me. I love his work, his illustration work. Do something interesting with it to make it my own also is important.
It's so interesting because you look at some of those old pieces like a Doré or a Dürer, and specifically with Doré, like I can see the emphasis on composition and how important that probably was to them as well, thinking about that before they started, especially back then where it's not just, oh, I can hit undo. and start over
Right.
again, or
Yeah.
or retry that line or whatever. So I love that, and that precision and dedication that takes. Is there a particular part working on this project that you had in your mind of like, oh, I can't wait to see this in the movie, or I really want to see this in the movie? You know, we touched on those action poses in your piece, and I think there's so much good ninja just body language and energy you captured in that. So I know I'm excited. Was there something for you that was like the oh, I can't wait to see that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think seeing those weapons, that arsenal that he has available in with the action figure, and I really
Yeah.
want to see what they do with that in the film. I can't wait to see what they come up with the choreography and the action scenes. It really is going to be amazing. And that new suit, it looks amazing.
Yeah, agreed. And your illustration, the way that you kind of gave detail to those two knives that he holds, and even sort of the framing with the weapons that you put around him. I think that's just so, the gear is such an important part of Joe and G.I. Joe historically. So I think we're in for like just a new level of that with this movie.
I was trying to think, how can I feature these weapons in an interesting way? And so I had that idea of doing this kind of mandala background pattern using the knife and blade arsenal. And I think that really turned out nice. I really like it.
Even pairing it with that, you know, that snake motif as well, and the delicacy and the line work that came with that. It's such a nice balance. I think, you know, how that all came together in the end, it really just is beautiful. Thank you so much, John. I had a blast talking to you. I want to pick your brain even more about this work, but I know we got to keep it moving. Any last thoughts on G.I. Joe and the Snake Eyes piece that you want to share before we get out of here?
Thank you for having me. Thanks to Hasbro. And I can't wait to see this movie.
Where can fans check out more of your work and see some other great pieces from you?
They should check out my Instagram. It's @JohnGuydo. I'm also on Twitter, same @JohnGuydo.
All right, fans, go check them out. It's your loss if you don't. All right, back to the show.
So cool to hear the behind the scenes of how that piece was made. Hasbro has partnered with HotTopic.com to develop t-shirts featuring this amazing artwork that will be exclusively available today on the website following this event. Speaking of apparel, I'm super pumped to be able to announce that BioWorld will be doing a limited release of movie-themed apparel and accessories as part of their Heroes and Villains collection, starting July 4th at heroesvillains.com. I need the black one. I need the white one. I need them in a size large. I'm going to wear both of them to the midnight screening. I'm going to come in wearing the black one, maybe leave wearing the white one, or come in wearing the white one, come in leaving the black one. I mean, how do you choose? It's Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. You don't choose. You just get both. Now, for our cosplayers out there, Disguise will be launching a whole line of Snake Eyes themed costumes and accessories. Their line includes the iconic Snake Eyes mask, gloves, throwing stars, and swords, so you can become the Arashikage Ninja Warrior himself. These items will be available on Amazon this September, so keep an eye out for them. Now, for our gamers out there, this July Game Mill will be releasing a premium version of their game G.I. Joe Operation Blackout Gold Edition. This special re-release takes the core game and adds all the digital deluxe content. I'm talking weapons, character skins, digital art book, and the soundtrack, and brand new Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow skins from the upcoming Snake Eyes movie. It will be available for PS4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. You can get it at GameStop starting July 20th, 2021. This is a game I will 100% be streaming on my channel. Now, for our mobile gamers out there, we didn't forget about you. You're not getting left out today. I'm excited to announce that War on Cobra 2.0 will also be launching on July 20th, 2021. And in this update, players can look forward to full base customization, redesigned buildings and units, and a changing world map. You will also be able to duke it out in a special Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow Ninja themed event leading up to the film's release. You do not want to miss this. Whew, that's a lot of announcements. So I'm going to take a short break and turn it over to Michael, head of publishing at Hasbro, and an amazing special guest who we're so happy to have joining us today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Kelly. I'm the Vice President of Global Publishing for Hasbro, and as such, I get to oversee all the exciting things we do in the comics world, none less than Rob Liefeld's amazing efforts on Dead Game. And I guess it was about 2 years ago, Rob, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 years ago at San Diego Comic-Con, Chris Ryle came up to me and said, "You got to meet this guy, Rob. He's dying to do a book about Snake Eyes, and we should try and get that together." And here we are. We had a little pandemic in between just to make things a little more exciting, but here we are. We're on book 5, and I'd love to hear, Rob, from you just what your thoughts are on a little bit about your history with G.I. Joe and what got you excited about doing this project.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, it was in fact 2 years ago that I received an email from Chris. Says, "Dude, it's time for you to do G.I. Joe. Come on, man. What do you think? You know you love them." And because he knew I had a long-standing passion. I had done some covers a few years prior for the G.I. Joe comic books, and I just loved illustrating these characters that I grew up with. And you got, okay, so I brought this along. Now, this is the replica you guys did. This is my G.I. Joe. The best part when I talk about that I played with G.I. Joe as a kid is when people then on social media go, "That's not possible. I did the math. You never played with G.I. Joe as a kid. The Real American Hero came out. You're this age." Yeah, and I'm like, wait, what? Dude, you like, people don't understand the Adventure Team. And then obviously beyond the original war affiliated toys. But I came on board with the Kung Fu Grip, the Eagle Eye, the Adventure Team. And I'm going to blow you away right now because not many people have the Intruder, okay? The Intruder, yes. I was ready for today's meeting, okay? The Intruder, damn it, okay? This was an alien that battled, my G.I. Joe. I was all in on all of these things, but and so when they relaunched in the Reagan era, and I was so like, wait, they're bringing G.I. Joe back because I've told people, this went everywhere with me. He's actually in the box, by the way. This was the primo toy of my youth, period, end of story. And again, I had a couple of them. And so my love for G.I. Joe goes back to when I was a kid, and I'm old. I'm not young. I played in the sandbox with my Joes, with my Intruder, which is why, as you know, because my editors from IDW were flipping out because I'm like, and I thought I would be the first to get to these things, but there's obvious fans that did it before me, but I was not the first to put Intruder in a comic book adventure, but that's why he's there. And there were a couple different versions of the Intruder but again, here's Snake Eyes and Scarlet tackling Intruder in issue 2 of Snake Eyes Dead Game. So look, this was so exciting. And as you mentioned, it got bumped a while. It got delayed because of the pandemic that you mentioned, which the comics industry shut down for like a quarter of a year. So then it was like, get things back up and running. And it has just been one of the most fulfilling projects I've ever been involved with. And I don't give that out lightly. The guys at IDW, all of you at Hasbro have made this just an absolute dream come true. And the little kid in me could not be more thrilled.
Well, I have to share that sentiment. When Chris first came to me with the idea, it was just like a dream come true for us as well. Just exciting to be able to work with you and to see your vision. So thanks for sticking with it and for getting through all the different issues that we had with delays and things like that within the industry. But you never gave up, and here we are. We're about to come out with issue 5. So yes. Awesome.
I'm so excited. Look, you don't understand. When you get this in the mail and you can hold it and go, that's my drawing of Snake Eyes coming up from the water. It's so like, it energizes you. And then you guys dropped the hammer on me last week with an actual Dead Game action figure, which I got to tell you, it takes a lot to make me speechless. I couldn't talk. I was like, whoa. I immediately checked the link. Is this the gag? Is someone trolling me? Is this real? Is there really a Snake Eyes Dead Game? Oh my gosh, I found it. I was like, what? My wife's like, what's going on? Like we're at the breakfast table. I'm like, just hang on. I've got to confirm this. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I have to confirm that this is real. And I emailed my editors at IDW and like, yeah, we meant to tell you this yesterday, but we're so excited you're excited. So Snake Eyes, Dead Game figure, so exciting.
Question for you. You know, as you mentioned yourself, there's so many stories now about Snake Eyes. You know, he's been in the comics since the early 80s. Yeah. He's been told by Larry Hama, by Chuck Dixon, you name it. What was your approach to Dead Game, and you know, what was the story that you wanted to tell, and how'd you get to that point where you had that approach of Dead Game?
I figured, here's this guy. He's always been this honorable warrior, okay? And I wanted, and he's basically the most lethal weapon in the special missions team. Like Snake Eyes is the guy that generally is bailing everyone else out, and he is the highest qualified kind of warrior. So I'm like, in essence, the way he serves the team, he is their most potent weapon of war. Well, I wanted to introduce this mythological weapon of war that re-emerges, and this kind of somewhere between dark mage and kind of, Dark Lord named Kurgan, who has this history with this sword that can bring about the Dead Game. So now I've got like this mythological bend to it. And in order to battle this, weapon of war, he had to seek out the only weapon that had ever defeated it, which was the hammer of the legendary Thor. Now, I got to tell you, prior to picking up comic books, my sister, who is 7 years older than me, would always be doing her history papers or whatever. So when I was a kid, she had a big giant kind of mythology book, and I saw this big giant illustration of this character named Thor, and I read about the Norse gods of legend, and I had encountered the Nordic gods prior to knowing that he was a Marvel superhero, that Jack and Stan would co-opt him. So I was able to access that, and then I was off to battle this. I wanted Snake Eyes to be way in over his head. And the Dead Game ritual is something that we are trying to outrun the entire time, and he's trying to outsmart this Dark Lord. There are some other characters from his past, but I really leaned into the ninja training and all of that kind of aspects. I went further away from maybe a straight military story, because I felt like there was a bunch of those, and so, but along the way, we got my GI, look right here, because I came prepared. I mean, hello, who's he breaking out in the secret base? In the middle of episode 1 is my man, because I'm like, I'm not doing a comic without putting him in it. Okay. So all along the way, I'm like, yep, check that off. I was like, I had to be true to my childhood, who's like, don't even think about doing this unless you're putting all the sandbox stuff in. I did not know that I'd be introducing G.I. Joe fans to history of the character. But I have. And it's been a blast. And again, they go, who's this alien guy? And I'm like, well, here he is back in 1975. And it's so funny. I mean, people have been like, Liefeld, I did not know these things. I am hunting them down. I am searching them out. So it was my intent to, again, what I call my lunchbox, my sandbox G.I. Joe experience. I wanted to put that in with my modern Snake Eyes and this new villain, the Kurgan. And again, along the way, I mean, he wore a red uni. There was an issue all in the snow. He's in a white uniform, which is kind of like if you mash up, Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes into one costume. So along the way, everybody at IDW and everybody at Hasbro said, Rob, have fun. We've cleared that, go in that direction, which I think only brought out the best in me leading up to this giant, finale.
I think what's great about Joe, and I think I tell that you agree, is it's that nice juxtaposition of reality with fantasy, with science fiction. Like, you can really go a lot of different directions and have fun with it, and It still makes sense for the brand. So I'm really happy that you were able to capture that, and we're all thrilled with the final result. Tell me a little bit more about the 5th issue, because you worked with some amazing names alongside yourself to bring this issue to life. We got Neil Adams, we've got Tom Scioli, we've got, you name it, Larry Hama even. So tell me a little bit what that was like, what gave you the idea of reaching out to them, and what it was like to work with them.
The last chapter of a story, especially knowing the comic book marketplace, being a veteran of the comic book marketplace since I was 7 years old as a fan. Again, my encounters with spinner racks, my introduction to comic book stores, and then becoming a veteran in the business the last 35 years, knowing the marketplace, the conclusion of storylines. You can tell people as much as you want how important they are, and yet they are not as easy to sell as the launch issue, the first issue. So I wanted to do something that demanded everyone's attention. And so I called up my friends, of whom I have made a lot over the years, and chief among them, I'm going to be honest, Neil Adams, had he said no, it may have taken the wind right out of me. He was the first guy I asked, because if you get Neil Adams, who is to me because since Jack Kirby is gone and Stan Lee is gone, Steve Ditko is gone, the greatest living legend among us in the comic book world is Neil Adams. He is, in my humble opinion, the greatest illustrator to ever draw comic books. His techniques are still being used today. His illustrations, the guy drew the most beautiful, strong, powerful characters, figures all across the board. And so I called up Neil and I said, Neil, I had gotten to know Neil really well over the last decade being on the road, because anytime I had any free time, I would park myself at his table and say, tell me, comic book stories of the 60s, the 70s. And, tell me, I love listening to him. And he would tell me, Rob, I am everybody's best inker. I am John Buscema's best inker. I am Gene Colan's best inker. And he went on to list all these different people, because I was really obsessed with all of the different talents that he's inked over the years. And people aren't aware that he did ink a lot of these greats at his studio. He'd be like, and because of all these different pages coming through, he'd always get to cherry pick. And he told me, I did all the best pages. So I'm like, I'm going to ask him to ink the best. Like, not only, I'm not just going to ask for one page, I'm going to ask for a double pager. So this is a tall order. I said, Neil, would you do it? And I mean, love to. Send it to me as fast as you can. It's the first page I drew from the book, the spread. I sent it off to Neil. He had it back to me in a matter of days. I then started making the calls. I called Jerry Ordway. I called Kevin Eastman. I called Carl Kiesel. I called Philip Tan. I called Wills Portacio. The list goes on. Ed Pisker, Jim Rugg. The idea originally was to get as many Bronze Age guys, because that's when the G.I. Joe Real American Hero, the comic book, launched. But unfortunately, there are not as many of them as there were pages in the book. So then I went to the young guys who I knew grew up with this franchise. And I was fortunate. I mean, I batted 100 throughout. Everybody was happy to join. And when I got everybody's page, and I knew that we could make something really special out of this. And it has. People are really psyched. I mean, Corey Hampshire, like I said, a guy named Chance Wolf. I mean, really great talents all throughout. Dan Panosian, guys from my Extreme Studios, Dan Frega, Marat Michaels. I'm going to leave out somebody, but just amazing. The pages would come back. And so when you see that credit page and all those people who contributed, and I told everybody, just have fun with what I did. I'm not hiring you to trace my lines. Do Jerry Ordway, do Carl Kiesel, just use me as the template. So it came out fantastic. I am so excited. And then of course in my back pocket, just so, because eventually you're going to get to this, the Larry Hama of it all. As Snake Eyes Dead Game #1 is being done, I go, man, I need to involve Larry somehow. I am in a Bronze Age comic book group on Facebook, and a buddy of mine put up the sketch he had just gotten from Larry at the end of the 2019 convention season. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the most amazing drawing. Larry, like head to toe, full figure, loaded in pouches and gear. And I called up my friend Ted, and I said, Ted, if I get Larry's permission, can I ink that and use that? And he said, yeah. So then I contacted Larry. And within 10 minutes, Larry said, great, Rob, I'm thrilled. Go ahead. And so then I went back to Ted and I said, so now I have permission. May I have your permission to use it? And he's like, Rob, I'm so excited. And then we have used it as this cover, and that got people even more excited. So again, thank you, IDW. Thank you, Hasbro, indulging this as the way to go out in this finale. It's an all-star affair. Comic book legends Kevin freaking Eastman, Kevin the Turtles Eastman goes, yeah, Rob, I'd love to. He and Neil are two guys who've never inked me ever before, who are guys who I have tremendous love, adoration, respect for, and their pages are amazing. They're just fantastic. So I hope everybody. We wrap the story. Ryan Invincible Otley did a double pager. Again, like everybody came to play, and everybody gave me their very best. And again, Snake Eyes is at the fore of every single page, battling our bad guy. And I think it drops 2 weeks before the movie. So the window is maximized. So I think Snake Eyes fans are going to be ready for this.
You mentioned just now the movie. We actually this week just dropped the second trailer. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking about the Snake Eyes movie? Are you excited about it? Is there something particular you're hoping to see?
Everything about it has me thrilled. I saw the new trailer. I dug the teaser. I think it has all of today's best kind of cinematic sensibilities. The action looks on par with the best stuff you see in John Wick. The character, the acting, the staging, the setting. Henry Golding has just so much presence. He's brilliant. I don't mind saying this. It's a matter of public record. It's on my Instagram. He introduced himself to me on Instagram as telling me that he grew up reading my X-Force and how much he loved all the characters that I did at Marvel. And you don't understand, that was a drop your phone moment. I'm like, okay, Snake Eyes just told me that he dug X-Force. I am in this second level of existence. Like, this is blowing my mind. And I'm like, I love drawing you, Henry. Like, you go through this geek, awareness. So knowing that Henry is a legit comic book guy portraying the biggest character in the G.I. Joe, pantheon. And I just can't wait to see it. It's got all the katana action, all the martial arts. And then in the new trailer, obviously we saw Baroness, we saw Scarlet. So I think this is the perfect launch for a new era.
Great. Thanks for that. One last question for you, and I don't know if you've received it yet, but we do have our friends at 3-0 sending you over one of the action figures based on your Dead Game Snake Eyes. So that should be arriving soon if you haven't already gotten it. But you touched on it a little bit before, but that's there it is. There's the basis of it.
Oh my gosh.
So tell us a little bit more just about your experience when you first heard about that, and what you think, what that means to you.
It's mind blowing. I mean, I have never lost the appreciation. Never lost the appreciation. I love toys because I love the stuff. I love the stuff. The stuff never gets old. So the fact that this, and you guys even posed him. 2 of the 3 covers. You guys knew what you were doing. Your people, you posed them after these covers. There is one where he is literally in that pose. I did a 3/4 view. There's a 3/4 view, and they say Dead Game, and I'm freaking out. So look, the Dead Game figure was the cherry on top. You guys could not have planned it better. It is reinvigorated. I've heard. I mean, people are psyched.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Rob, and for all of your passion and effort that you brought to this program. It's been a really wild ride. It's been a lot of fun, both reading the comics and now interviewing you and getting this insight. It's been really rewarding. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Dude, you are so welcome. And here's the deal. Now that it's all together, it's collected, it's forever. Once all 5 issues are in, and it's going to be on shelves forever. Thank you for clearing it. Thank you for giving me every single green light. I had a blast.
It's great. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's the guy. That was super exciting to hear from Rob himself and learn about what's coming for Snake Eyes Dead Game in just a few short weeks with the 5th issue release on July 7th. Don't forget. Rob mentioned the new Snake Eyes Dead Game themed figure, which you can now see him unbox on his Instagram page. This special edition figure was made by D0 to celebrate Rob's creation and story. The 1/6 scale collectible figure is incredibly detailed. It has about 22 points of articulation, and based on Rob Liefeld's IDW Snake Eyes Dead Game creation. It is already available as a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, so hurry up, run over there and grab it, because I'm going to try to get it before any of you do, because if it sells out, I am going to be irate because I really, really want this. Now, we wanted to leave you with one final treat. We have some behind-the-scenes content from Paramount Pictures to get you really amped up for the Snake Eyes film release in 1 month on July 23rd. We're excited to continue Snake Eyes' journey to the big screen with you, so don't forget to order your Snake Eyes merch today and follow Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe, and Hasbro Pulse for more news. It was a pleasure to be with you today. I was your host, Cleo Thomas, aka Mr. Slick Living. Yo, Joe!
The relationship between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow is probably one of the greatest relationships ever created. Larry Hama being on board gave us the stamp of approval. We've all loved his work for an entire generation.
When I did the comic, it was completely character-driven. The readers would come back to spend more time with characters they liked. Came up with the backstory about Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow being comrades.
Do it.
Snake Eyes saves him. He brings him back to train him up. Anytime you're ready.
Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are the brother loyalty story.
I can offer you a purpose. It's very yin and yang. The ninja in black, ninja in white.
You are the only brother I've ever known. I would pay you back with my life if I had to. It was so important for us to get that relationship right in this movie. Larry gave us creative license to be able to tell a story beyond the comics and launch this brand new universe for G.I. Joe.